What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to the video today. The Habs lose 3-2 to the Philadelphia Flyers in a shootout. The Canadiens make it to overtime for the 15th time this season. They were 5-2 going into this overtime against the Flyers. Lost in the shootout where they've performed very well this season, actually. And then in overtime in general, if you combine the overtimes and the shootout wins, 5-2, now 5-2-1 in the season for the Canadiens. And Kaden Primo has himself a heck of a night, proving again, not only does he belong with the Canadiens, but he belongs in part of this tandem right now with Samuel Montembeault. And he gets himself a 940, was it 949 save percentage? It was a 949 save percentage for Kaden Primo, stopping 37 of 39 shots, including a really nice blocker save in the shootout, but also some nice saves in overtime, some nice saves in regulation as well. So good on Kaden, because again, the trade rumors right now are basically going to still focus on Jake Allen, which they should. And it's not even a rumor. I mean, Jake kind of knew coming into his new contract a couple of years ago that he wasn't going to be part of the long-term solution with the Canadiens. And now Kaden Primo has actually been able to perform at a level that shows that he can handle the NHL, and hopefully he can handle more of the NHL workload by playing in more games. This is only his 9th game played this season, and we're 40 games in. So you have to think that either the Canadiens are going to showcase Jake Allen more and give him some more games, which they should, in order to reassure teams that he is still Jake Allen, which I think he still is on a good team. I think he's definitely a solid 1B for a playoff run, or at least he's going to be able to help a team win. I think that's the main thing with Jake Allen there. But in terms of this game, the Canadiens went up 2-0 fairly early in this game. And there were a lot of block shots in addition, by the way, to all the shots that Kaden Primo stopped. Caden Gooley, Mike Matheson, and David Savard had themselves a night. There was 26 block shots from the Canadiens. So not only was there 39 shots on goal against Kaden Primo, he's had to face 25 plus shots in every single start this season, by the way. So the Canadiens are giving up quite a bit. So that's not necessarily the most encouraging. What is encouraging is that they're getting the goaltending. So they're getting it from Sam Montembeault and Kaden Primo at this point. And Kaden Primo's dad, Keith Primo, at this game, of course, former Philadelphia Flyer. So it was a big night for Kaden in general, playing in front of his father, and of course the fans, and also the franchise that he grew up, idolizing, if you will, or watching, and maybe even one day wanting to become a part of. So in this game, the Canadiens go up 2-0, and we thought that Juraj Slafkovsky actually got his 5th goal of the season, but it's officially been credited to David Savard on Sportsnet here, whereas Slafkovsky was parked out front of the net. The goal before that, let's talk about that first, actually, was Sean Monahan's. He actually does tip it. Shout out to Owen Tippett. I just thought I'd throw I don't know. It was a good pun and at a good time. But Sean Monahan tips in the Justin Barron shot earlier in the first period, actually only a minute 29 into the first period, and the Canadiens go up 1-0. Sean Monahan just continuing to up his trade value. I know there's a big debate about trading him, but if you get strong assets that are going to make the Canadiens better long term, you got to trade Sean Monahan. There's no question. He gets his 11th of the season, assisted by Barron and Caden Gooley, and then the David Savard goal, which looked like it bounced off Slafkovsky and the Philly defender, but it actually was credited to David Savard in the end. But Slafkovsky does get credit for his 11th assist on the season. Mike Pizzetta gets credit for his 7th assist, and David Savard gets his 4th goal of the season. Then we go into near the end of the third period, where Owen Tippett, there was a good reason for the pun, right? He gets the goal, and frankly, this goal was just like impossible for Kaden Primo to stop, because, I mean, he was at the other side of the net. There was a good, passing play from Philly, and then Kaden can't even make his way halfway over to the other side of the net, and Owen Tippett just fires it into an open cage, and it's 2-1 going into the second period, where there's only one goal in the second period, and it's Morgan Frost on the power play, assisted by newcomer Jamie Drysdale, who came over in the Cutter Gauthier surprise trade that nobody saw coming, and that controversy just circled. We'll talk about John Tortorella's comments on that situation in a moment. But Morgan Frost gets a power play goal, and it's a nice looking shot from a defenseman who's got offensive touch. Obviously, Morgan Frost, this is his 7th goal of the season. But what I just didn't love is the fact that he just had so much time to find the perfect angle to shoot this puck and then beat Kaden Primo on the glove side. I just felt like there was too many passengers on this play. Like, I just didn't seem to love the fact that the Canadiens just couldn't seem to get in the way of this shot, maybe, or even try to get in the way. I don't know. I just didn't love the fact they had so much time and space to shoot this puck and basically beat Kaden Primo clearly on the power play. I also didn't love the fact that these two exact same passes in this game came from Jake Evans and Mitchell Stevens, where they're in their own zone and they pass the puck up the middle in front of their own net, basically with a Philly defender right there. So I thought I'd point that out because I was like, why did this happen twice? I mean, Mitchell Stevens saw Jake Evans do it once. I think that was enough. But anyway, it happened twice. And that was just kind of like, that could have been disastrous. But fortunately, it wasn't in the end. I mean, Sean Couturier could have, got a better shot off maybe on the Mitchell Stevens giveaway there, but he didn't, thankfully. And then nothing came of it. But Couturier then decided to beat us later in the shootout. So third period doesn't result in any scoring. So it goes right to the overtime where Philly has the puck pretty much for the majority of the overtime, right? So the only clean scoring chance came from Josh Anderson, and he almost he was almost and I got to give credit to the Philly goalie. How do you say his name properly? Urson? Urson. Okay, well, he's got a 10-5-3 record now in the season. So regardless, Urson makes a heck of a save on Josh Anderson on the breakaway. And there was a beautiful pass in the second period made from Nick Suzuki to, or actually, I think it was maybe the third period. I believe it's the third period, but Nick Suzuki just underrated, almost unnoticed. It was in the highlight package on Sportsnet, but the backhand pass he made up to Cole Caulfield to give him a 5-on-5 chance where he also couldn't bury it on the breakaway. But what a pass from Nick Suzuki. Still playing some excellent hockey. And going back to the third period, yes, or the overtime, sorry. So Josh Anderson got the only real clean look in overtime. And a lot of people were complaining about Jake Evans getting so much ice time in overtime. And I think that was more of the reasoning being because there was a handful of defensive zone faceoffs that Jake Evans was assigned to try and win. So he didn't stay on the ice for longer than needed, but he did stay on there and got a lot of ice time for a guy that doesn't produce a whole lot of offense. He's a good defender. He's a very good defender, so that's why they put him on there for overtime. And obviously, Marty was trusting that he was going to be a trusted piece in that overtime. Jamie Drysdale, Jake Evans. I already talked about all this stuff. So John Tortorella calling out the reporter who has a podcast that actually is directly linked to the Philadelphia Flyers in response to the accusation that Kevin Hayes, former Philadelphia Flyer, was involved in helping ship Cutter Gauthier out of town, which Kevin Hayes denied. But in the post-game press conference, just right in the middle of it, unprovoked, John Tortorella asks who it was that actually was the one to stir this up and basically say that his fingerprints were all over it. Kevin Hayes' fingerprints were all over the Cutter Gauthier move, which Kevin Hayes denies completely. And I just like the fact that there's accountability. This is old school accountability from John Tortorella, and that's what I admire about him in that sense. I don't care for the swearing rants he goes on or, the angry rants he goes on sometimes, but I do think the guy cares. He's got passion. He's smart, and I think he keeps people accountable. I loved the move. I loved that he kept someone accountable for saying something that clearly would have drawn a lot of clicks, got a lot of attention, but if you didn't have, I mean, I don't know if somebody got lied to or whatever it was, but whatever the reason was that led them to believe that Kevin Hayes was involved or not in the Cutter Gauthier trade, they put it out there. They put it out there. So the fact that John Tortorella stood up for his guy was kind of cool. I just thought, like, you know what? If you're going to say something in the media industry, I don't know that I'm in the media industry. I'm on the YouTube platform here where there's tons of us talking about hockey. But if you're going to say something, and I'm always a big proponent of being careful of what I say because I don't want to regret it, this is an instance where that can happen, right? So your credibility, your respect can just go downhill. And you never like seeing that happen. So I like the accountability from John Tortorella saying that Kevin Hayes would never do something like that. And, I just thought it was interesting. So other than that, the Canadiens lose in the shootout. And Kaden Primo has himself a heck of a night. And I still thought the defense, as much as they gave up, they still played well with all the block shots that they had. Canadiens didn't convert on their one power play that they had. And now they go back-to-back against San Jose tonight at the Bell Center, heading back home where Sam Montembeault is expected to get the start. He stayed back home at the Canadiens. Will Raphael Harvey-Pinard make his return to the Canadiens lineup tonight? It's a very good possibility. We don't know for sure if he's quite ready yet. But the San Jose Sharks are coming into that game having lost 12 in a row. So, they want to come into the Bell Center and play well. There's something about the Bell Center that just gets you up to play. It's the best building in hockey. We all know that, right? So you can't take San Jose for granted at all. I don't care what team you are. So hopefully the Canadiens can come in and play a strong game. And let's check out the wild card standings really quickly because I did not check them before recording on this video, but we can do that while we're here live, if you will, live to tape, as the old saying goes, on this recording here. So in the wild card standings right now, the Canadiens sit 5 points back still of Tampa Bay, with a lot of teams in the way. Detroit, Pittsburgh, Washington, New Jersey, believe it or not, still not even in a wild card spot. They're 1 point out, and they've had a lot of injuries this season. So we know that's a big part of it. But given where the Canadiens are at, they're now 7-17-6, 5 points out of a wild card spot. They got San Jose tonight. Let's see how that all goes down. I'll see you guys after that game, likely first thing tomorrow morning. So thank you all for watching. It means a lot to me. Thank you. We're almost at 5,000 subscribers, guys. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe if you enjoy this channel. And if you keep coming back to this channel and you plan to, please hit that button. It's appreciated. Thank you so much, guys. See you soon.